The moment Vegeta unleashed Super Saiyan 3 in one of the recent episodes of Dragon Ball Daima is undoubtedly a moment for the history books. For years, fans have debated whether Vegeta would achieve this form given that he famously skipped over it in Dragon Ball Z. While Goku mastered Super Saiyan 3 during his time in Otherworld, Vegeta seemed to take a different tone, focusing instead on forms like Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue in later arcs. Seeing Vegeta now reach Super Saiyan 3 in Daima feels like a reward for his relentless character development and enduring popularity among fans. The shock and experiment from viewers came not just from him assessing the form, but how impactful the moment was. Vegeta didn't just achieve it, he owned it. His transformation wasn't just a gimmick, it showcased his pride and resolve as a Saiyan warrior. This scene is a quintessential Vegeta W that fans have been craving, especially since Vegeta's wins tend to be overshadowed by Goku's success. Who would have thought it would be Vegeta for the first canon Super Saiyan 3 win? Which brings us to the premise of this video. I've made quite a few videos talking about the idea of Super Saiyan 4 being implemented into Daima. Some of the reasoning for this stems from how every Dragon Ball series brings a new transformation and Goku is always the one to showcase it. Dragon Ball Daima has quickly been dubbed by fans as Akira Toriyama's spiritual successor, or perhaps his reimagining of Dragon Ball GT. The parallels are impossible to ignore, starting with Goku being turned into a child again. This premise alone set fans into a frenzy, sparking endless comparisons to GT, where Goku's de-aging was a result of Pilaf's wish. However, in Daima, Toriyama adds his own twist, making the transformation feel fresh while still evoking that nostalgic sense of an adventurous Dragon Ball journey. The core concept, a smaller, less powerful Goku traveling to unfamiliar lands with a fresh cast of characters, feels like a direct homage to the classic Dragon Ball series, but is also a deliberate nod to GT. Both series put Goku in situations where his raw power wasn't the only solution, forcing him to rely on his wits, teamwork, and old-school martial arts skills. This adventurous tone, coupled with the introduction of yet another set of mysterious Dragon Balls, makes it feel like Toriyama is revisiting ideas from GT, but with more creative control and a clear vision of how to execute them. Then there's the elephant in the room, the Super Saiyan 4 theory. Fans have been buzzing since Daima's debut, speculating whether this series will finally canonize some iteration of Super Saiyan 4. In GT, this form was iconic, a primal furrow evolution that perfectly balanced the Saiyan's raw animalistic roots with their divine potential. With Daima reintroducing the idea of Goku starting from a lower power level and exploring new territories, the door seems wide open for a reimagined Super Saiyan 4 to make its debut. The new set of Dragon Balls also adds fuel to this fire. Historically, unique Dragon Balls often come with unintended consequences or challenges. Black Star Dragon Balls in GT, anyone? If Super Saiyan 4 were introduced into Dragon Ball Daima, it would need significant reimagining and narrative adjustments to align with the current state of the Dragon Ball lore. The prerequisites for the transformation, as established in Dragon Ball GT, are no longer feasible in the context of Dragon Ball Super and its continuation into Daima. In Dragon Ball GT, the transformation into Super Saiyan 4 requires becoming a golden Ozaru, which necessitates the Saiyan tail to harness blood sways from a celestial body like the moon or artificial sources. Goku and Vegeta have long lost their tails, and there's no indication in Dragon Ball Daima that they'll grow or they require them. Some modifications would have to be made to make this happen. Now, the reason this ties into Vegeta becoming a Super Saiyan 3 is the fact that Goku must always one-up Vegeta no matter what. This has actually been a consistent theme in the story, and typically transformations do follow these one-ups. During the Cell games, Vegeta was the first to shatter the perceived limits of Super Saiyan by achieving the Grade 2 form, commonly known as Super Vegeta. This power-up allowed him to dominate Semi-Perfect Cell, showcasing his superiority in that moment. However, this triumph was short-lived as Cell evolved and Vegeta's arrogance led to his downfall. Goku's response? He entered the room of spirit and time and emerged with an even more advanced state of Super Saiyan Grade 4. Unlike Vegeta's bulky and stamina-draining Grade 2 form, Goku's version was far more efficient, balanced, and sustainable, becoming the pinnacle of Super Saiyan power at the time. Vegeta, realizing this, sought to emulate this mastery during his second trip to the Time Chamber. In the Buu Saga, Majin Vegeta was marked as a significant moment for Vegeta's character. With the Majin Buus amplifying his power, he was able to match Goku, who trained for 7 years in the afterlife. This was a moment of redemption for Vegeta, as he felt he was finally on equal footing with his rival. Goku's response? Once again, he revealed that he'd been holding back, with the mysterious Super Saiyan 3 transformation, a form that Vegeta couldn't comprehend at the time. This revelation left Vegeta in disbelief, reaffirming Goku's ability to stay one step ahead. In Dragon Ball Super, Vegeta's My Bulma moment against Beerus showed his extraordinary potential. His rage allowed him to briefly surpass Goku, something even Goku acknowledged. This was a significant moment highlighting Vegeta's emotional drive and his role in his power. Goku's response? Following this moment, Goku unlocked Super Saiyan God through the ritual, cementing his status as the first Saiyan to achieve godly ki. This, once again, left Vegeta trailing, though he eventually achieved the form on his own, showcasing his determination to keep up. This pattern continued, with Goku stacking Kaioken on top of Super Saiyan Blue, creating a massive gap between himself and Vegeta during the Universe 6 tournament. Later, in the Tournament of Power, Goku took it even further by unlocking Ultra Instinct, a transformation that put him in an entirely different league. While Vegeta achieved his own unique evolution in the form of Super Saiyan Blue Evolved, it was still framed as slightly behind Ultra Instinct in raw capacity, emphasizing the ever-present gap. This established dynamic is entirely possible that Goku will once again one-up Vegeta with another transformation. transformation. If this were to happen as previously mentioned though, there's a lot of things that they would need to change to the original Super Saiyan 4. Super Saiyan 4 is one of the most iconic and beloved transformations in the series, and with the introduction of Dragon Ball Daima, it's been under speculation if we will see this form again. This is mainly due to the similarities in Dragon Ball GT and Daima, which I go over in this video here. I've already made 2 videos speculating the possibility of Super Saiyan 4's return. The first one was made when we really didn't know much about Daima at the time, only going off of the initial trailer. I said that if they were becoming kids again, they could possibly go back through Saiyan puberty and once again regrow their tails, which could still be possible I suppose. In the second video, it's mainly based on the fact that we got much more insight into the demon realm, and it got me thinking, if Super Saiyan 4 was rewritten to be different than it was in GT, having it only exclusive to the demon realm, then it could work. I still think both of those videos stand the test of time and haven't been debunked as of yet. However, this time, I decided to take a different approach entirely on how this might happen in the series, and it has a lot to do with what was revealed in episode 4 of Daima. While Goku and co were looking for a way to travel through the demon world, they stumbled upon these interesting bugs inhabiting the demon realm. Apparently they're pretty old since they're called antiques, but nonetheless it's the origin for the theory of today. One of these antiques are called joint bugs, and by eating them you can fuse with people temporarily. This started the wave of people saying we would be seeing 𝗕𝗔𝗟𝗔𝗚 or Bugku or something like that in the future. But it might not be Vegeta who Goku decides to fuse with this time around. I'm personally not really with Goku fusing with anyone else who isn't Vegeta. Design-wise plays a part, but mainly because of the way the fusions have been established in the past. For the Metamorph fusion, you and your partner would have to be completely in sync, and with the 𝗕𝗥𝗏𝗏, it was implied at times depending on who you fuse with, you may even become weaker. Vegeta and Goku are the perfect fusion duo, and breaking this trend could result in catastrophic events. Because of these bugs, however, we may just get that, and I'm thinking a combination of Shin and Goku is definitely possible. How did this relate to Super Saiyan 4? I'll tell you. Firstly, the combination of a god and a Saiyan is one we've seen before. Goku Black was essentially this, although he wasn't a fusion himself per se, but the deity definitely played a role in his visual appearance. The first and most obvious thing is the fact that his Super Saiyan Blue form is pink. A fan theory in the past that I agree with attempts to explain this. Zamasu being the soul inhabiting Goku's body played a huge factor in this color change, and when you consider that these transformations are more based on your genetics rather than your being, it makes a lot of sense. As long as you're a Saiyan in some capacity, rather it be you having the body of one or the genetics, you can become Super Saiyan if you were originally a Saiyan or not. Cell is a pretty good example of this, as it's clear he was able to use various forms of Super Saiyan. In just his first form, it's heavily implied he was a Super Saiyan, with the way his aura matched Goku and Vegeta's in the manga as well as the anime. He also was stated to have powered up like Gohan did when he regenerated himself along with the blue electric streaks like a Super Saiyan 2. If Goku and Shin fused, then Goku's Super Saiyan form should be affected just like Black's were and change the aesthetics of it. Now, he wouldn't be an actual Super Saiyan 4 with this route since it would be more of a visual change rather than anything else, but it's possible that a Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Shin fusion might look somewhat similar to it. Another way the Goku and Shin fusion could lead to Super Saiyan 4 would be based off the fact that now as a new being entirely, they could transform into something else. We haven't seen many if any cross-species fusions for the most part. When two beings are combining in the Dragon Ball franchise, they have been of the same kin, so this would be a first as far as the main story goes, which can open up the possibility to see new forms. I can also see Super Saiyan 4 not really being a form in Daima, but possibly just what the fusion of these two produce. In terms of visuals, Dragon Ball Fusions provides a compelling precedent for this concept, showcasing characters of different races, sizes, and power levels combining to create new unique forms. For Dragon Ball Daima, I could imagine them achieving a similar aesthetic by drawing inspiration from Super Saiyan 4's iconic look, reworking it slightly as a tribute. While this wouldn't be the exact Super Saiyan 4 transformation from the past, it could serve as a cameo or nod to the original form. Ideally though, this would be an entirely new form, one unlocked specifically by a fusion of Goku and Shin. Super Saiyan 4 has always had an almost mythical quality to it. Characters' clothes reappear or change during the transformation, and Vegeta even regains and loses his tail. Small details like these suggest a magical aspect that could be worth exploring further, especially in the context of a new form. Since this hypothetical fusion between Goku and Shin would introduce a magical element to Goku, it makes sense to envision this new form as a fusion-specific ability exclusive to the Demon Realm. Restricting the form's use to Goku and Shin's fusion will also keep it unique. The fusion bug only offers a temporary fusion, which we know that Goku and Shin won't permanently be fused in the future. This limitation will make this new form something that we only get to see once, adding to its mystique and impact. With the fusion being a one-time event, it could easily become a legendary moment, offering fans a fleeting but unforgettable glimpse into a fresh, creatively reimagined form inspired by classic elements while introducing something unique to Goku's character and power set in Dragon Ball Daima. That being said, however, there are two other scenarios that Super Saiyan 4 can be present. Let's explore them, shall we? Super Saiyan 4 is arguably one of the best written transformations in the Dragon Ball franchise. Its emergence in GT took the series to a completely different level. In stark contrast to the previous transformations of Dragon Ball, Super Saiyan 4 isn't obtained through rage or hatred. Being the polar opposite of the first Super Saiyan form, Super Saiyan 4 is actually obtained through love and compassion. In Goku's case, it was his love for his granddaughter Pan and the people on Earth who he longed to protect. It was in this moment that his uncontrollable rage subsided and he regained his consciousness once again. Similar to Goku, Vegeta unlocked the form through his compassion for Goku. The Golden Ape form, of course, is also a prerequisite, which is arguably Super Saiyan in grade 8, but it's only the first step to unlocking this form. With Dragon Ball Daima less than a month away, the hype for seeing Super Saiyan Kid Goku on screen has rose quite a bit. In the beginning, many people weren't interested in Daima, and the main reason for that has to do with his GT comparisons. Goku is essentially becoming a kid again and going on a space adventure with a new cast, and there's new Dragon Balls, possible tougher looking villain, etc. and so on. About 3 months ago, I made a video about how Super Saiyan 4 could be included in Daima. At the time, however, we didn't have much information about the series itself, and I was definitely grasping at straws. But the main basis was that Goku is becoming a kid again, like in GT, so essentially he should be able to regrow his tail back, since Saiyans at a very young age are able to regrow their tail after it's been cut off. From the information I've started looking into now, it more implies Goku is miniature rather than a kid, which would explain why some of the cast don't look like how they used to look like as kids. But at the same time, Trunks and Goten very clearly became younger, so I'm not sure here. Having said that, we've been given much more GT subtleties, which include a new set of Dragon Balls which mirror the Black Star Dragon Ball, as well as having people inhabit them in their body, as shown in the trailers, which is kinda like the Shadow Dragon, alongside 2 new enemies looking like GT villains. Because of this, I've rethought about the Super Saiyan 4 possibility and have a different approach I want to take in this video. So without further ado, let's begin. I think a very important detail mentioned in the recent spoilers of Daima that ties directly into this theory have to do with Vegeta getting Super Saiyan 3, for the simple reason that Daima is going to be mainly a Toriyama project. What this basically means is that the story will follow the standard Dragon Ball system where Vegeta sits in the spotlight for a bit, usually showing a new transformation or ability, just for Goku to come in and one-up him. Vegeta serves as the Goku build-up in the story most of the time. This connects to the theory and the idea that if Super Saiyan 4 had a 1% chance of showing up, it's definitely 2% now, just because of this. I can see Goku obtaining a new form after Vegeta uses Super Saiyan 3, just so they won't appear to be equal in any way. Some supporting consistency for this theory as well is that every series in the franchise has a notable transformation. For Dragon Ball, it's grade 8. Dragon Ball Z is the many Super Saiyan forms. Super is Ultra Instinct, and GT is Super Saiyan 4. There are sub-forms in the series as well, which Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 will most likely be, but Daima needs a main form to advertise the series with. Since Super Saiyan 4 already exists for GT, one can argue that you can't have one form advertise 2 shows, but I beg to differ actually. Alongside Ultra Instinct, Super Saiyan Blue is iconic for New Age Dragon Ball, and that's pretty much Super Saiyan with blue hair dye, which was no coincidence by the way. Dragon Ball Super was definitely looking to recreate the greatness of Dragon Ball Z, and have a form just as iconic as Super Saiyan. In addition to that, Dragon Ball, especially in recent years, has been no stranger to fan service, some of which include Gohan Blanco and Cell Dorado, or Cell X. If we were to see Super Saiyan 4 rewritten, then it wouldn't be the craziest thing the franchise has introduced. And yes, rewritten, not canonized. I think Super Saiyan 4 as it stands right now wouldn't fit very well the way it's currently written. Similar to Broly, there will have to be things changed for it to make sense in the story. Mainly because I think the idea of the Golden Grade Ape needing to be achieved is the main issue. I don't think Toriyama is really fond of Saiyan tails, to be honest, since he constantly forgets about them and even the new Saiyans in the franchise didn't have them. I can't ever foresee Goku and Vegeta becoming apes again, so that aspect of it would have to be changed. And not just that, but we would need a really good reason why this form has never been used or brought up or referenced in any way in Dragon Ball Super. I can't wait to see what they say about Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, but this is a whole nother can of worms. So all that being said, let's talk about how Super Saiyan 4 can be remade to make sense in Daima, starting with how Goku could have achieved this form but never used it or made mention of it. Best fix in my opinion is to have the form be exclusive to the Demon Realm, in the sense that Goku actually can't use the form without being present there. That way the conversation wouldn't be brought up anytime after this, since Goku wouldn't be able to use the form, and it really wouldn't make sense to instant transmission just anyone to the Demon Realm to fight them in Super Saiyan 4, especially if forms like Super Saiyan God and Blue are much stronger in comparison. From what we know about entering the Demon Realm is also that you have to be a deity, so that helps the narrative a bit. This may also add to the lore behind Goku becoming an adult again during the form's transformation, alongside his somewhat edgy demeanor when he's in his form, even a bit in the design aspect too, which should stay the same because Super Saiyan 4 is definitely top tier in terms of design. Not many people talk about how mythical Super Saiyan 4 is as well. For starters, you lose and regain your clothes when becoming this form, which is downright hilarious without context, but somewhat magical nonetheless. On top of the fact that it somehow was able to alter the wish of the Black Star Dragon Balls, which made Goku turn back into an adult in this form. You'd be surprised at the amount of people who just don't bring this up, but with Daima, maybe it could make more sense. As for how to actually obtain this form, there's a few different routes that the show can take, one of which would have to be a result of possibly Super Saiyan under certain conditions in the Demon Realm. Similar to how Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan God is just Super Saiyan applying God Ki to one's base form or Super Saiyan form. Perhaps Super Saiyan 4 could be Goku infusing certain magic or Demon Realm exclusive energy with his transformations. We've been told that Daima will have various trials Goku and Co will have to overcome which involve the use of magic. Perhaps Goku could be fighting some kind of demon, possibly the Namekian villain, and get hit with some sorcery that's meant to restrict him, but he breaks through it and the result is the new Super Saiyan 4. Just an idea, but yeah, something of that nature. Another route they could take is having Goku learn from someone in the Demon Realm, a side teacher kind of character, like mirrors. Maybe he shows Goku some new moves and he can only use them in the Demon Realm, and somehow the death in the character results in Goku becoming enraged and that turns him into a Super Saiyan 4. I wouldn't personally be too fond of this version, but I wouldn't put it past the series at this current point. The next and probably most important thing that would have to change about Super Saiyan 4 is its origin and backstory. The only way a Saiyan can obtain Super Saiyan 4 is if he is already a Super Saiyan, can transform into a 𝗕𝗥𝗟𝗟𝗓, and regains consciousness control over the form. This transformation is the ultimate combination of both the humanoid Super Saiyan and the 𝗕𝗥𝗟𝗟𝗓. This form was designed to be the absolute pinnacle of Saiyan power, and it has made all the sense in the world for its appearance during the Baby saga. Baby, the tough parasite looking to exact revenge on the Saiyan race by using the very same power that brought his to extinction. This forced the Saiyan Goku to look back into the past and rekindle that ancient Saiyan fury, regrowing his tail and once again becoming a 𝗕𝗥𝗟𝗓. But it's been years since the time of savagery, and Goku's long domesticated. Calling on the hearts of his loved ones, he becomes the ultimate Saiyan warrior, and Baby, despite his best efforts of imitating this power, he's unable to become a Super Saiyan 4. Because he's blinded by anger and hatred, which is in opposition to achieving the ultimate form. The backstory of Super Saiyan 4, for me at least, is why the form is so great. For the rewriting of this form, it'll have to be something that can tie into the events currently happening in Dragon Ball Daima, as well as have some kind of connection to the Saiyan's history. Because of Dragon Ball Super changing the origin stories of certain events in Dragon Ball, we might have something to work from. During the ancient days of the Saiyans, there lived one amongst their kind who stood out in more ways than his strength. His courage and righteous heart allowed him to become the first Super Saiyan ever. His name was Yamoshi. The origin of the Super Saiyan of legend was changed to Yamoshi in Dragon Ball Super following the events of Battle of the Gods, where he originally was the first Super Saiyan God. But that wasn't the only thing that was changed. The Saiyans that defeated him originally were considered evil, but the ones who killed him in Dragon Ball Super were actually demons. We know this because Yamoshi's soul wasn't able to find peace in the afterlife following his death to these Saiyans. This is the result of a demon, as shown in Dragon Ball when talking about the victims of Demon King Piccolo who were stated to never be able to ascend to the afterlife. In the same way that Yamoshi's path leads to you becoming a Super Saiyan God, perhaps the demon Saiyans who killed him also have a way to be communed with through some other kind of ritual. One by the end of the transformation that you will become an evil demon 𝗕𝗥𝗟𝗓, like they're depicted in the previous story. This tale would be known in the Demon Realm, the same way that Yamoshi's was in the Namekian Book of Legends. Someone in the Demon Realm looking to turn Goku evil, either because he's much too strong to defeat or they see him as a valuable asset, will somehow perform this ritual on Goku, which would either make him become a mindless ape again or corrupt him with the powers that the Demon Saiyans held back then. Though similar to what happened to Goku in GT, he will break free from this curse, and the result of which will be the new Super Saiyan 4. Maybe Super Saiyan Demon or Demonic Saiyan. In this state, Goku will have the powers of the evil Saiyans, but in a more controlled state so that he can use them to his advantage. A cool note about this form could be that when Goku kills someone while using it, they won't go to the afterlife. I think something like this could be really cool and somehow rewrite Super Saiyan 4 into the canon story of Dragon Ball. But what do you guys think? Let me know what you think about this theory in the comment section below. And what are your thoughts on Super Saiyan 4 in general? Would you like to see it in Dragon Ball Daima? Be sure to let me know. And until next time, 𝗕𝗔𝗟𝗟𝗓.